This is so interesting. NFL insider Diana Rossini of The Athletic recently went on her podcast, Scoop City, and broke news, revealed an interesting nugget about Brock Purdy and the 49ers. First, she reminded people that Jed York at the NFL annual league meeting last week said that Brock Purdy is a top 10 quarterback when combined with Kyle Shanahan, the ultimate asterisk. And that was the biggest quote taken from this NFL annual league meeting, at least from the 49ers. Jed York calling Brock Purdy a top 10 quarterback when combined with Kyle Shanahan. So Rossini says, okay, but if you were truly a top 10 quarterback independent of Kyle Shanahan, how come no teams have called the 49ers to trade for Brock Purdy? And her co-host, Chase Daniel, says, oh, is that so? And she said, yes, no teams have called the 49ers to trade for Brock Purdy. And that sort of shows what the rest of the league thinks of Brock if he didn't have Kyle Shanahan. This is interesting. I mean, this kind of maybe reveals what the Niners feel or what they think is fair in terms of paying Brock Purdy. Why should they pay him top of the market money when no other team would do so? No other team is calling him and saying, hey, if you don't want to pay Brock, we'd love to. Because that's what happens with truly elite players when they're negotiating contract extensions and maybe not getting everything they want right away. Just a month ago, Matthew Stafford wanted an extension from the Rams. The Rams were thinking about it. And while they were thinking about it, the Raiders called him up and said, we'd like Matthew Stafford. We'll pay him. We suck, and we will pay Matthew Stafford because he's that good. And so the Rams paid him. Last year with Brandon Ayuk, who was a top-tier wide receiver, fringe, before he got hurt. The Niners were thinking about whether they really wanted to pay him top-tier money. And while they were thinking, the Browns, the Steelers, the Patriots called the Niners and said, we would love to pay Brandon Ayuk. He's great. We suck. We want him anyway. We'll pay him, and we'll trade whatever draft capital you want. And the Niners ultimately reconsidered and paid Brandon Ayuk. That's the way it works in the NFL with truly top-tier players. Brock is not a top-tier quarterback. Everyone knows that. So there is no trade market for him. I mean, you could say maybe the Tennessee Titans would be better off not taking Cam Ward with the first pick, taking Abdul Carter and trading for Brock Purdy. But if they were to trade for Brock Purdy and pay him what he wants, they would suck still. They wouldn't go anywhere. They don't have anyone to help him. Because the thing about Brock, he's not like elite when combined with one really creative coach. You can find a creative coach. He had a really creative coach last year in Kyle Shanahan, still won 6 games. I disagree with Jed York when he says that combined with Kyle, he's a top 10 quarterback. No, he was combined with Kyle last year and was not a top 10 quarterback, was terrible in the second half, 13th in quarterback rating. No, he's a top 10 quarterback when combined with the best running back in the NFL, who's also the most feared receiver on pass plays, the one guy getting double teamed. When he has that guy, when he has prime Christian McCaffrey, yeah, he's a top 10 quarterback, but who isn't? Jimmy Garoppolo was undefeated playing with Christian McCaffrey. Until he lost to the Chiefs that one. But after the game against the Chiefs, where McCaffrey been on the team for 2 days, undefeated with Christian McCaffrey. Mac Jones, what Brock Purdy did in 2023 and the latter part of 2022 just isn't that impressive, considering Christian McCaffrey was playing like a Hall of Famer for that stretch. He was playing like Marshall Faulk or Roger Craig or better. And the Niners still didn't win a Super Bowl. Sorry. So if some team out there felt they had the next Christian McCaffrey and the next Kyle Shanahan, then yeah, they might trade something for Brock Purdy, but that team doesn't exist. Frankly, the Niners don't even have prime McCaffrey anymore. He's going to be 29 in June. His body's breaking down. If they give Brock Purdy $55 million a year or even $48 million a year, thinking it'll work out because Kyle's here, they're wrong. It was all about Christian. Christian is the MVP of the 49ers organization when healthy. And I think those days are behind him. And I think the 49ers need to accept that, Because if they're in denial about that, they're going to give out a lot of money to the wrong people for the wrong reasons. And I think they need to look at this right here, the complete lack of trade interest for Brock Purdy, as an indicator that maybe they shouldn't be giving him $50 million, even $40 million. Geno Smith got 37.5. That sounds about right to me.